I am so excited. Erin, I'm so glad you're joining us. And thank you everyone for being here. Um, we've been really good about our power hours. Erin, so we've been doing them Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 12 to 1 your time, 1 to 2 our time. And it's been really good. And we've really been good about like maybe talking through some things and just like working. We haven't really been chit-chatting a lot. But sometimes I really think it's good to just brainstorm ideas because I know like when we start talking, all of us, we're very like the mind starts flowing and it's really good. And I know August is just an interesting month anyway. So I just thought this would be a good time to do it. So I I'm really excited. I have an idea. Betsy had shared an idea. I don't know if she'll get to be on, but she shared it with me. So I'll get to share that. And I just think like all of our brains just put a different spin on things. So sometimes it's good to talk through things together, like on purpose. So we don't feel like that we have to be sending messages, but we can actually brainstorm. Um, so I just wanted to kind of like throw it out. And maybe we could start with like each person, like the one area that they're really wanting help on, and then we could brainstorm that. Does anyone have a idea that they want to bring to the table first before we do that? Um,
Well,
Steph, Steph, I would like for a couple things to happen. First, I'd like you to share the story about your LinkedIn reach out, her response, how we tweaked it, and kind of the result of that. Because we always talk about the way people react is totally about them, not us. And it's like how I'm trying to like myself. I've been reading my personal growth, 21 qualities of a leader, although read this many times. I'll read a chapter in it and then oh yay, and then I'll spend the day, like yesterday I read charisma, and then I'll spend the day trying to have charisma and asking myself, was I charismatic with my son? Was I charismatic in that conversation? And really like holding myself to a higher standard, trying to listen more, like really listen more. It's hard because you just want to like say it, but I'm trying to listen better. And so I'm working on that. So um, I've been working on like when someone gives us something and it's not like necessarily the nicest thing, I know it's about them, not me. So what can I do with that? And instead of getting annoyed like I may be used to. So what happened yesterday is a perfect example. Steph? Sure.
okay. Yes. Okay. So I've been reaching out to LinkedIn, people that are looking for jobs. And there was this one lady, I think she was unemployed from Ann Taylor or something. Again, another brick and mortar went down. So I reached out to her and I sent her, just my little message. And I was so upset with her response. Like I had to call Renee. I was venting. Um, oh, hold on. I have got to read this.
Kind of have to read it.
I have got to read it. It was like a punch in the stomach. Oh God, I have so many messages. Sorry, I had it up. Um, she, but like Renee and I talked with the message. I kind of vented in a box. I typed out what I really wanted to say, which was like, "You work at Ann Taylor. It's not even in store anymore. My business is booming. I've had the big like I was livid. I mean, yelling in this. I vented it all out, and then called Renee and I said, "Oh my God, I don't even respond. I'm just so mad. I want to send this, but I know I shouldn't." And so we were. Oh God, okay, here it is. So here's what she sent me. She goes,
Why don't you say what you sent first?
"Oh, okay. I just sent. Okay. Oh, we were scheduled to talk. That was the worst.
It is scheduled to call.
Hi, Andrea. I would love to connect and see if I can help you. Please let me know when you have time to talk. That's Stephanie. Sure. What's a good time? Blah, blah. We had a scheduled conversation to talk. Call her. She doesn't answer. Call her again. She doesn't answer. And I'm like, that's just so rude. So then she sends me a message back. I'm like, I'm sorry. I left you a voice me. Call me when you're free. She goes, hi. Sorry I missed your call. I don't think I'm interested in selling skincare. My friend did it a few years ago and got in debt. I need an executive salary to meet my financial obligations. Also, I don't have family or friends to sell skincare to at this point. Thanks. And I'm like, what? I'm like, can I just say that I make the? I mean, I was livid. I'm like, does she even know? It's not even like. So anyway, so Renee and I talked, and we tweaked down my venting message.
You got to vent, like.
Yeah. Like,
Erin, you
I
might
had
not.
to take it out, like how mad I was, and like you're at Ann Taylor. I mean, I'm sorry that it's brick and mortar and that's gone, and I'm having the biggest. Our company's thriving, blah blah blah, whatever. and you're unemployed and I'm not. But anyway, so we came up with this. Hi, Andrea. Thank you for getting back to me. I'm more passionate about nutrition. The skincare is just a great plus, smiley face. I've had my biggest paychecks these past couple of months while our company is experiencing enormous growth. I wish you the best of luck, and if you would like to earn some extra money while looking for an executive salary, this is where I can help. I may also be able to help connect you with other business leaders as I am in a leadership role in a closed networking group. Done. Like she was on I was like, well, that's one of my, awesome.
Awesome list.
I mean, I deleted her from my phone, and then an hour later she comes back, she's, yes, extra money may be a good idea. I'm definitely interested in nutrition. Can we chat tomorrow, please? Say 2 p.m. Please let me know. You can text me at blah, blah, blah.
That's great. That's hilarious.
So I'm like, I'm not even responding. I walk my husband. He's like, don't be like that. And I'm like, she's gonna wait till tomorrow. And I don't even know. I mean, so I'm talking to her at 2 o'clock after this.
Oh, good.
So I say that because we all listen. It's their job to throw that at us, and it's our job to show us what we're made of. And I had to listen through that. Now, if it would have happened to me, I would have been like,
yeah,
I'm not pressing on the recording to me. However, it didn't happen to me. It happened to Stephanie, and I could like hear it and be like, okay, hang on a second. Clearly, she's like probably in over her head financially, doesn't know what to do. And I'm always like, what can we do? And so that's where this whole brainstorming thing, how can we take whatever happens to us to the next step? Really, like we've gotten, I think in the past, not as much anymore, into like that copy paste mentality, but the daily methods shows me what could I ask them for? What would be the next best ask? I like really think strategically about these things, and I slow down a little bit, and I spend time personally in the morning planning out my reach outs. So anyway, that was just like a really good example of the outcome. I mean, that's like it happened yesterday, and somebody's like, oh my God, you won't believe this.
I'm like, she responded.
So I think when we're getting stuff like that, or like they say yes, they're all in. Catherine and I had an all in situation, but then we took it down a notch. Okay, she said all in, but her husband was balking because she just bought a Peloton. Okay, well, we're not asking you to spend money on a business. We're asking you to make money in a business. But we kept tweaking it down. Then we ended up asking for a pop-up. Like you have to keep like chipping away the layers of what the real objection is. So, okay, just some ideas. So so Steph, I'm going to come back to you for your idea because that was a really good one yesterday. But along the lines of what I'm talking about, there are people, especially LinkedIn professionals or whatever, who don't see themselves doing what we do. None of us saw ourselves doing what we do either. I get that. And I always remember that. So, we use the word ambassador a lot, which is like a fun little thing for some people. But for people that are professionals that don't see themselves doing what we do, they see themselves as a connector. So verbiage I'm using for people like that is like, hey, I get, in whatever your own words, I understand what you're looking for. In the meantime, would you be a connector for me? And you'll get paid by connecting me to people who need my help. I had this happen yesterday. I had upgraded I've known her like since she was 13 years old. She's now graduated college. Her and her mom love Arbonne. She upgraded to consultant. She wanted to sell. Well, she doesn't want to hear the word no. She actually could finally say like, I just don't want to hear no from people. I cannot handle that right now. She's taking her real estate exam, and I'm thinking, and you're not going to hear no there, but okay. She doesn't want to hear the word no. So she doesn't see herself doing this yet. So I'm like, I'm not going to just like lose her. She loves Arbonne. She's like, I want everyone to feel like I feel. So my brain is like, what can we do here? I'm like, Devin. And this was my situation yesterday. I'm like, okay, here's the deal. I get it. Like you don't want to ask for reach outs. You don't want to ask for pop-ups, but can you be my eyes and ears when you hear people say, I just have no energy. I feel so yuck. I just like need a reset. Like, cause she feels really good. She looks really good, all the things. I'm like, I've learned this like in my networking group. The question that connectors would say if someone's complaining is, would you like help with that? And then if they say yes, you say, hey, let me connect you with my friend who's like a health and wellness coach. She's so good. She can help you. And maybe there's something she can do for you. That is really powerful for people that think they're above what we do because they don't understand what we do. I don't care anymore if they think they're above me. I thought I was above me until I wasn't above myself, right? I was the one in my Ann Taylor suit in my 20s thinking that the corporate world is the end all be all until it was the worst place ever for me. But there are people who love their jobs just that need extra money or could be furloughed. Those people might not be like wanting to be like area managers, but they might want to be connectors. So my suggestion when you're talking to influential people is, would you be my connector? Not the word ambassador, because that some people think of ambassador as like a young millennial Instagram ambassador who gives their like coupon code. Like we think of an ambassador in a nice way, like a Lululemon ambassador, but I like the connector thing. That's something I used and it was really good. And she was like, I'm so glad, because she was avoiding me. And this is a family friend. I'm like, Deb, you got to talk to me. I'm like, I just want to help you with what you want. She was so happy with it. I set up a pop-up. So we're doing like almost like a virtual pop-up. We're not actually having it. She's collecting orders, but I'm going to get her host rewards. Is that funny? Like a double virtual thing. She doesn't want to like do the whole like host anything, but she'll like start asking people. She'll do the 3-way text. I'll place the orders. I'm just trying to get into her network. So that was my idea that I wanted to bring to the table, is using the connector concept and the question, would you like help with that? So that's what I wanted to bring.
I love that, Renee.
Like, can't you think of a lot of people that like that would?
Because ambassador, you're right. Like, I follow tons of like influencers, influencers on Instagram, and they're ambassadors for different brands. But you're right. Like I know when I think of that word now, I think in this day and age, I think of, I have like, I'm ambassador for a brand. That means I have a coupon code. That means I am, for instance, selling these clothes, like modeling these clothes for this company, sort of thing.
And yeah, and another thing on the whole ambassador thing, like I was looking on my daughter's Instagram and all these people, so many messages to her like, hey girl, love what you're wearing. Do you want to be an ambassador? Like, I can't tell you, she probably has 20 of those. I'm like, does this happen all the time? She's like, oh yeah. And I'm like, that's got to get old, Yeah.
I get those all the time, and I'm just like, delete. So I like connector.
I booked a pop-up today with that. I talked to an old friend and I was like, and she loves Arbonne. I'm like, listen, no, you're so busy. I'm just really trying to help people that are like just needing a refresh. Could you grab a couple of friends and just connect me to them? Let's just schedule a 15-minute. And here's the catch. And I actually learned this from Betsy. So I'll credit Bets when you watch this back. If they can't make it, she'll still do the 3-way text with me and them. And I'm going to send her the recording of the 15-minute pop-up and say, we missed you. Check this out. I'm going to send you a little gift for watching. If any of this sounded good and I can help you, let me know. Because I use the word, you're such a connector. Let's just see who like wants a little bit of help. Totally no biggie. I'm just really trying to like, expand my network. And so again, it's like I've been really trying to think more about how I can help people and what would speak to them. Because it's not the same for everybody, So thanks, Steph. Steph, why don't you just go ahead and share your idea? Because then that'll lead us into more conversation. So why don't you share yours?
Okay, just the little fizz one?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, we have a bunch of people going off to college, and I know I've had a lot of people go, oh, I need some fizz and hydration to go off college. And Renee and I were just saying, what if you get like 10 boxes of fizz? Like you could do, like they could be a host and they could get their friends like a box of fizz to get ready to go off to school, or teachers going back to school or whatever. And so then I figured about giving them the little sample, the little fizz sample. And I'm like, what if we gave like send them one, and then they have to tell us, we'll give them all 2 or 3 flavors and say, which is your favorite? And I think I did the little postcard, and when you rip the thing off, it says, what is it? Sip, what did I say? I came up with something cute. Sip, share, or something. Sip, share, and save. Ask me how, ? So they have to reach out to me, and then they get a discount, or we thought about maybe then inviting them to a pop-up, and trying to get them on that to share which was their favorite flavor, just to try to get them involved, just like something fun to do with samples.
So here's the thing. If someone hosts a pop-up and you have 3 orders, you guys know, and it's over 150 QV. So let's just say, because we have a couple college girls that we're doing this with, they get their friends on. and each person orders 1 box of fizz. That's over 150 QV. So that person that hosts gets a free gift. Now, what if you had 10 people on that each ordered a box of fizz? Who can do their math this Friday morning? How much QV is that? 550 QV.
I was like,
That's
wait,
a lot of QV, but yes, it's not new per se, but it's 10 new people getting a box of fizz that we get to follow up with. And they get not only the free gift, but they get more than that, 375 worth of product for like $90, like the 80% host rewards. Host rewards are so powerful. So I'm setting a bunch of events up. And even if people don't do like official pop-ups, but they're like connecting me this way and they're collecting orders, we can't forget like how powerful that is. And I know not everyone can do a 30-day. Like I get that. Like I've heard that a lot now, actually. But just in terms of finances. But you guys, a box of fizz, like good energy. Who wants like a good energy party? And then get them. They have to hop on the 15-minute. You do your little brand overview. What was your favorite flavor? And then what I was thinking I would probably do, because if everyone's paying retail, I mean, we're making a lot of money on retail. I'll probably waive everyone's shipping if they order that day. No biggie to me, $7.95. I'm making so much more in 35% commission. They're in the system. I set them up as a client and I have a new person to follow up with. Maybe they're going to host that. We got really excited about that. And we had 2 college girls that said yes to us for that.
Yeah. And then, and we thought we could package this up. And Erin, you're so good at packaging. But like I just did the little thing, and then I just did, actually it's taste, share, and save, ask me how. So when they pull the little thing off, it says that. And then, obviously the little bookmark. And I did this for the little college consultant. I put her information on it. And I said, how many would you like to hand out? So we're just trying to figure out how to package that off. But I think that's just such a cute way, like a fun little gift to give people. And just to have them taste it before they go off to college, right?
And it can be where you sample it, or you just have a fizz lover and they host a fizz pop-up. And maybe you really customize it a little bit to what they love. You don't spend too much time in other things. You do the quick overview, but there's just a lot of different ideas there. So I hope you're kind of thinking, think about this. What preferred clients or, ambassador consultants do you have that like are obsessed with protein or obsessed with something? Would they host just about that? Because sometimes I think they think like, I don't know who else would want all the things. But if we're just focused on what they love, say we're going to really focus on that, and I'll do a little overview, like you might be able to get some more events. So people that love Arbonne, why don't we focus on what they love and kind of get good at that and maybe meet some new people through them. So those are 2 ideas that we had.
Can I ask a quick question? When you are proposing that to somebody to host, do you mention like how you broke down, if we just get 3 orders, they only have to order 1 thing, then you get a free product. So you kind of break that down for them. So that
I say, I'll guarantee you at least a free gift from my free gift list. Because what I've done is, Devin, we already have her thing going. I had to place an order for someone. I linked their random order to her event. So she already has 2 orders in there. So she's going to get that. So I promised them a free gift. But then I'm like, the better the event does, the more the host rewards you go. And then the other thing is, this was also Betsy's tip. This is so cool. She's been doing Try It Tuesday. So she's been on our team call saying, I don't love sampling. I know Heather does love sampling. She does Try It Tuesday. So she reaches out to people and say, it's Try It Tuesday. And may offer like some things that she has and say, would you like to try this? I'll pop it in the mail to you. And with my goal, you guys, this whole 212 degree, which I still call the top 10 challenge, I am going to try to do this every month. This is going to be my benchmark to see where my strengths are in my business and where my weaknesses are. And because of this, like the daily methods is just my activity to get me the results on this. So it's really been good because it's making me like, I need an event. How am I getting it? So it's just making my brain think a little bit more creatively, but I'm not going to be upset if I don't finish it, but I'm just going to keep going for these things to keep me like thinking strategically. Because you think of things when you're forced to just try to, fill stuff in. So those are some of the fun things that I wanted to share. Does anyone else have things that they want to share? Ideas?
I think We should do the facial too. I think we should do like a team facial, like on a Tuesday, you know? I guess we really don't have any samples to send out, do we?
No, what people have done, I just don't think it's, I don't know. Erin, I don't, are you guys like, people are putting little paint palettes. I just don't think that that's that sanitary right now. That feels like really weird to me.
Yeah.
They're doing what?
Little like paint by number, little like plastic little paint things.
Yeah.
People are like putting product in that and shipping that out. But in this heat and COVID,
Yeah.
I just don't feel like that doesn't really make sense to, but again, I don't know. I can't wrap my mind around it without a real sample pack.
Yeah.
I feel like, Stephanie, there's so much value in the prep work line for when we're thinking about college age students. I just feel like it's a simple line and it's super effective. I mean, my teenagers use it, one, because it's simple, and then two, because it is effective. So I don't know if there's something around that, just doing a quick pop-up on that. I don't know how many orders you'd have to get a free gift on that one, but I feel like, I know we've done like college survival kits, and I feel like the prep work line is the micellar water, I think, is so great for busy kids.
We're prep work samples. You could even, so if they have prep work samples, you could send out prep work samples, and you could call it Facial Friday, where you send out the prep work samples, everyone hops on, you kind of use this stuff, and I don't know, you could do something with that kind of a facial. But in terms of like an RE9 advanced facial, I know that there are teams who do them. I just don't know how you do it without sample packs.
I know. That's true.
But I love the prep sample idea.
Yeah.
The other thing that I'm just saying, for me personally, don't feel like you have to do it. I'm not like posting this on social media, but I personally am making a donation for every pop-up that I do. And I'm sharing that. Like, it's my friend Trisha. I'm like, I have a goal to donate X amount. So I want to do 10 pop-ups this month. Will you do one of them? She knows, for mental health. Like, that's something that I'm going to do. So the more pop-ups I do, the more I can donate. And I'm sharing that in my reach out to the right person. Like, that's something I feel strongly about, because I want to be making a monthly donation, but I'm kind of attaching it to pushing myself for activity to be able to afford the donation. So that's just something I'm doing. Again, I'm not like posting that, but I am telling the person, by getting a few friends together and just letting me share and having them, experience Arbonne and be a resource, I will be making a donation for every pop-up. And I have a goal of 10. Will you be one of them? That's something I am not to everybody though. Like, I know the person that would appeal to, and the person that would be like, I don't care. Like, but my one friend's sister, was at my kitchen table when my dad told me about the Proctor Fund. I knew she would care about that, and she would probably host for me. So that's just something I'm doing as well.
I like that. I don't have anything new, but this is really helpful, because it's helping me think of like Morgan, when I follow up with her about a pop-up again, saying like, talking about the donation, like that might make it feel better for me and for her, like, since we had that mental health connection. So I think that gives me like a good reason to follow up. It's not just like free product. It's like, we're trying to really make a difference, and by you hosting it could really help me.
What came of that? Did you ever?
I know, it was like, too good to be true. She was all like, I'm all in. And like, her and her friend were both on. It's funny, I followed up with her, like, to get her signed up. And then she said, like, my husband needs more information. Like, he's skeptical. And I sent her stuff, and she's like, well, let's touch base in a couple weeks. And then I just kept scaling back, like Renee said. So now we kind of left it, like she said, she'd host a pop-up for me. Okay. And she does, whether she is influential or thinks she is influential, either way, like, I just tried to play to that card. Like, You're so influential. I'd love to make a difference in the mental health world with you when you're ready. In the meantime, like, I'd love if you'd host a pop-up for me. So I'm trying to follow up with her. Her friend, we've been in touch like every other day. So I'm still hopeful that it might be her friend that may end up joining us. She's a single mom, has had a really rough last couple years, and we connected about that. And so we're just slowly talking back and forth. So we'll see.
That's great.
The situation with Catherine reminded me of what we've heard how many times. Start high and you can always end low with pop-up or products. So start with, it did start with the business. And then now it's like at the minimum, she'll probably try something when she can or host or whatever. So when we start with product, now sometimes that's what makes sense. I'm very much like a person who listens to what people want, but it just reminded me like you don't have anywhere to go if you're starting like at the lowest point.
And then last, I think my friend Melissa, who like loves Arbonne and just upgraded to like ambassador, she just started a teaching job at the private school by us, where she is meeting all new people, and she is like bringing her fizz and her smoothies every day. Like she doesn't want to necessarily do it as a business, but she definitely wants to help me and loves Arbonne. So I was thinking I'm going to be with her this weekend, just putting together some samples for her. And just like when you're having your fizz, if someone's like, what is that? You can be like, oh my gosh, this gives me great energy. Like let her kind of be my little, let her pass out some fizz samples to the teachers. And I could put that together for her. And that
She'll
can
be
help.
your connector.
Right.
Well, and Catherine, to that point, Steph and I have someone who we're giving samples to for them to hand out and say, if they like them, do a 3-way text. We'll place the order under you. You'll get paid. Because the thing is we got to meet the people. That's the whole goal, is for us to meet the people.
Yeah, I love that. So I could just like set up a little event, and any samples Melissa gives out, then she could earn some stuff. So
yeah, and I think if you say to her, like, if people want 1 box of fizz and we get enough of that, you can get a free gift plus maybe even 80% off. Like incentivize the host, which we used to do. That's how we grew our whole business. And so I'm using host rewards. I had a call with Shandy Starks. You know her, she's like beautiful, RVP in Charlotte, and they use host rewards like that's what our bonds get like special that month. And so I'm really utilizing that because money is more of an issue for people. And if they really want it, I'm like, well, I have a way to do this. All you need to do is, whatever, get a couple people on or share. And, the more people that order, the more I can get you. And that way makes them do the work. We need the hostess doing the work for it to work out well, is the truth. What else? Heather, I know you're probably driving and muted, but anything you wanted to add or thoughts on all this?
Yeah, that was all really helpful. I like the connector part a lot. That was really good. Yeah, I mean, I think the start high, which is kind of what I did with Erica. And then now we're down to, product, and, she's excited when she can do the 30-day after she has her baby and all that. So, that makes sense. And I love Stephanie's story. I talked to her earlier today, and that type of thing has happened, and I get very frustrated. So it's good to take a minute and think about it and make sure what you write is good. And then she had a good response. So that, I think, is a good lesson, that you need to take a minute before you respond. So yeah, those are all helpful. I don't know if I have anything new to add. I'm just, my kids, I have 1 more week and my kids are back in school, and I just am looking forward to a little time to myself to get to work and, schedule more calls from LinkedIn and
Heather,
just have a little time to myself.
but while I have you, you've gotten the most calls of anyone from LinkedIn. Really good conversations. No matter what it's led to, you've had really like successful conversations. Help us understand that. Like you are so eloquent in the way you speak, because it's all about relationships, because you never know. I mean, I'm the one like that is seeing results from like 7 years later with like people that I've known from the community that all of a sudden are like, oh, I'd like to try Arbonne. I'm like, I'm so glad it's only taken in 7 years. So I know that it's the long term and it's the connections, and you always leave on a good foot. How are you having such good conversations?
Well, I think I try to look at my time on LinkedIn more as like my recruiter side, like when I used to recruit, and just talk to them, see what they want. And I mean, I still have connections with like, you know, my recruiting background, also my like marketing and sales. And so I try to look at it as like helping them, even if Arbonne is not the right fit. And so just trying to get a feel for what they're looking for and what they want. And then, you know, just talking about my experience and what a great opportunity it is, and that, you know, the whole world is changing and how we do work, and we have to be flexible, and we have to, a lot of time, most likely have to go back to working from home full time. And it's just a really good, even if it's not your full time, like it's a good side hustle, it's a good part time. And I think you just have to keep an open mind. And so, you know, I've sent them samples, and obviously we've gotten on some three-way calls. And so that's what I do. I don't know if that's, you know, obviously hasn't necessarily turned out into anything, but I'm hoping that the connections will lead to either that particular person, or maybe they know someone that will be a good fit. So that's kind of the goal. I don't know if that was helpful.
No, it was. And Heather, I think for you, that whole like connecting the connector concept to what you're doing, because like, I know what you want, but in the meantime, would some extra money, or in the meantime, host something, get some extra stuff, free product. If you're interested in what I told you, you might be able to like veer off like into different asks after you've had that conversation. If you guys have it, like, if you get along well, they might like be like, that'd be cool. Why not in the meantime? You know, you might
Right,
be
exactly.
stuff. So
That's a good idea. I might follow up with, you know, everybody that I'm not like, there's some obviously that I'm continuing to talk to, but the ones that didn't really go forward, maybe I'll just go back and be like, hey, I wanted to follow up and see if you might do, you know, a 15-minute pop-up and you can earn free products, and it would be fun. And just like you said, take it the levels down from where it was. That might be a good idea.
totally. And maybe say like, hey, wanted to check on you. Have you made any progress in your search? And in the meantime, I might be able to offer you something else that might like pique your interest or something like that.
Yes, that's a good idea. I actually have a person I'm thinking of that I just followed up with to see, you know, if she had found a job, how the search was going. And we really connected. I really enjoyed talking with her, and I bet she would maybe do that. So yeah, I'll follow back up with her.
I love it, Heather. Thank you so much. Thank you so
And I
much.
talked to Heather. I talked to Heather too, just because I've had a few calls, and I feel like maybe I'm just so scarred from my yesterday situation, even though it's turned out good, that I'm so afraid to talk about Arbonne. So I'm like, so what do you need? And I'm more of helping them, and then I forget to talk about Arbonne. I mean, I say to them, well, of course I'm hiring. I would love to have you in my business, and you know, something on the side. You know, keep your mind open. Like I kind of throw that in there, but then I kind of end up being like, did I even do anything to help me? But I'm hoping that maybe I'm dripping on them, because I feel like we hang up and she's like, thank you so much. Like, I feel like maybe we're, I don't know, giving Arbonne kind of a good name. Like, we're here to help you. I don't know. But then do I follow up later with her and just say, once again, you know, if you want something on the side, I don't know. Does that make sense?
What do you guys think about that? What's your suggestion?
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Like, almost how do you transition in from like talking about life to
Helping them to,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I assume they look and they know what I do.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I think I'm going to follow up with her. Like, there's one girl that we've been talking now for 3 weeks, and she's like, you are the best. Thank you so much. So I'm like, well, that's a good connection. I can go back to her always and ask for her help now, right?
Yeah.
But,
Well, like, I just messaged a girl who I've asked before if she's interested in Arbonne, and like we'll be talking about something else, and I'll bring up Arbonne, and then it's like she doesn't say anything, and so I just messaged her again. I mean, I've never met her in person. This is all social media, and I'm like, you know, how is she's trying to do like the whole like fashion blogging thing. I'm like, how's that going? Like, just reached out and asked her, how's it going? So what I'm going to do is just see where the conversation goes organically. You know, and one more thing that I guess my quick tip is I'm just going back through like my old IPA binder and like all my old like daily methods sheets and like looking at people that kind of have dropped off or that I need to follow up from like a year ago. Like going back through that.
That's good. Yeah. Very
Yeah,
helpful.
I found it when we were like cleaning out stuff. And I'm like, oh, I can totally use this. We're actually using this right now.
One thing that I think is important, maybe, and this is a BNI thing too, when you make a one-to-one with people, it's an understood thing. I want to find out about you and you're going to find out about me. And so maybe in these LinkedIn conversations, say, I'd like to connect and see how we might be able to collaborate or help each other. So that way it allows you to share what you do. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're the person for you, but it allows you to share what you do where it's set up that it doesn't feel like you're trying to recruit them. That might be a way to do it where it's like, you know, hey, so-and-so, so glad we're getting to connect. I want to hear all about what you're looking for. I'd love to share what I'm looking for. And maybe we can put our heads together and see how we can help each other. That might be a way that feels better and gives you permission to like be direct about yourself, whether they're and sometimes when you're not talking to them, they listen better because they're not being recruited, you know?
Yeah. I know. I feel like I'm just trying to build the relationship and the trust.
Yeah.
And not be so spammy. I don't know. So anyway, I'm just, you know, and I talked to Heather. Heather gave me kind of an outline of what she does, and I love that. So
yeah, Heather's having a ton of conversation. So, and that really is the thing is we are wanting to hear what they want. And if we can help them in any way, they're going to want to help us. And that's giver's gain. That's like you help others, it comes back.
Yeah, and I think I need to think of that as like a BNI. Like I know the one-on-ones, you don't want to sell yourself. Like you're supposed to, it's a two-way.
Yeah. But it's educating people on what you do so they can be your eyes and ears. And I use the word eyes and ears a lot. Can you be my eyes and ears, listening for people that might be a good fit, that want to have flexibility, love health and wellness, want to be part of the community, have great training, really, you know, get to decide how much they want to work. Anyway, but no, I think it's just us getting comfortable with it. Heather's been doing it a little longer than us and she's gotten really good at it. You find your groove. It does feel weird. You're like, yeah. So it's almost like setting it up ahead so that you know, you're going to like both share.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Erin, what are you up to? What are you up to that you can teach us?
Yes.
Well, one thing I was going to share, and this is, I have to give the credit to Betsy, and she's not here for me to do it face to face, but she had recommended like going back to your pop-ups, to your Facebook parties, and those people that you've had conversations with, but really didn't go anywhere, like go back to them and say, hey, I know you were interested in some of these. Can I send you a sample? Like try to get one, you know, those people as part of your, you know, your top 10 samples sending out. And I loved that because this has been so helpful. Thank you for the invitation, Renee. I so appreciate it. Because where I feel like I struggle is I get to somewhere with somebody and then it stops because I don't know what next to ask or what next to offer, or, you know, or they're just like, no. And I'm like, okay, great. Thanks. Have a good day. And then that's it, you know, but then I'm like, no, they, you know, need it or whatever. And so I'll end up going back to them at some point. But I kind of like this idea because I want people to come to, I tend to do the Facebook. I don't tend to do the pop-ups, but I want them to come and have, you know, I want them to feel like it's valuable. But then I don't want them to feel like, oh, great, now I'm connected to this lady, this crazy Arbonne lady. So I liked that idea of just saying, I know you were interested in a couple things. Is there a sample of something I can send on to you? So that's, yesterday we were on the plane coming back home and I just filled out my daily methods for success for like 5 days of different names that I could do that with and different parties to go reach back out to. So that's my one little tip, but it's really Betsy's tip.
I love that. That's great for Try It Tuesday. And I think that's like a fun thing. Okay, that just gave me an idea, Erin. See, this is why we do this. So what if you get a no? And my thing now is I am pushing people to like their real no. Like I'm not allowing them to just blow me off anymore because I don't know. I just I don't think that that's good enough. Like I'm challenging myself. So what I'm going to ask when I get a no is there any product you were interested that if it went on sale, you'd like to know about it? Find out what they were actually interested in. Because guess what? We can make up a sale. We can then bring up the pop-up. Like, I don't know, like find out, is there something, or they really are like, don't, and then I'll probably be silly and be like, I promise you, I will not bug you again. If there's really nothing you're interested, no worries. Like, and I think you guys, we've all been in Arbonne long enough. We can kind of throw that in their face. Like, I know you haven't been in 17 years, be like, I've been doing this a really long time. It's no problem. I'm just looking for people looking for me. Like, I'll kind of be like saying that because I do want people to know I'm not desperate and I am not relying on their yes to get to, like, I am holding myself to the highest standard more than ever, you know? So I kind of like say like, listen, I've been doing this a really long time. If you're not interested at all, that is no problem. I promise I won't bug you. But if there is like one thing that like kind of piqued your interest, but you just don't want it right now, if it went on special, would you like me to let you know? I'm just tired of accepting a no that's not a real no. I actually want to understand their no and I'm not afraid of it.
That's awesome. You and my husband are the exact same. He asked me question after question after question. So then what? So then what? So then what? And I'm like,
I'm like, I don't know. You tell me. He's like,
what are we? Yeah.
Like, oh, Kev, can you just do it?
Well, that's why men that really do this business do really well because they treat it like a business. There's no emotion. It's like,
yeah, they don't care.
It's not about us. It is about them. And I guess I finally, I'm a slow learner. It's taken me decades. I'm finally like, this is not about me. Like when Stephanie called me yesterday, I'm like, hang on a second. She's like, probably needs to make a certain amount of money because she spent too much and now she has to make this. And so she's just so mad that like, it's not about you at all, but so what could we do? What could we say? So that's kind of been my mindset. It takes it off of me and I don't get so mad and annoyed and frustrated. And it makes me serve better because I can really like be more helpful. It's taken me a while to get there.
Well, and it was funny because last night I was handing out, I was sending out messages on LinkedIn and I'm like, and then I'm starting to think about like, do you think, what's this? What does this mean? Because, I'm not a business person like that. I'm like, what is a whatever? Do you think they're overqualified? And he goes, Stephanie, why wouldn't you ask them? They're unemployed. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. I mean, he just was so like, why not? I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then if it's a no, like, hey, well, if you have other friends that you think extra money, having fun, being in a good supportive community would be helpful for, let me know. And I'm not doing it to be tongue in cheek. I'm not doing it to be obnoxious, but it gives us the opportunity to like, maybe say it with a different lens where they don't have their defensive lens up. But if we're kinder in how we accept what they say, they may be a little bit more open. Like I don't feel defensive. I'm just looking to help the people that want my help,
Okay, I have a quick story. Can I share a quick story?
Yes.
So I was doing Donna's, what was it called? The last challenge, the 30 days, and reaching out to people who have a title higher than mine. And I kind of went through ones that people knew me, and I ended up kind of reaching out to people who don't know me, and which is kind of hard. If they don't follow you, then they don't see your messages, that whole thing. But I had reached out to Dana Collins, and she messaged me back quite a bit later and said, so sorry, just now seeing this. Can I call you? And I'm like, no, just text out some tips and send them on to me. I don't need a call. Like I got so nervous. But I said, of course, here's my phone number. She literally called me and we talked for like 45 minutes. And such a huge piece of her advice was, Erin, it's not about you, and don't take it personally. And, you know, I said a huge issue of mine is I don't want to cause conflict or any friction between me and anybody that I'm talking with. And she just kept reminding me, it's not about you, it's about them. And that conflict is good, regardless of what you think conflict is, but there's growth that comes out of that. So I think of you, Stephanie, and what you dealt, you know, to me, that would feel super confrontational to me. But there's good. You're going to grow from that. You know, that lady may have just been having a bad moment in that exact moment that she was messaging you back. But there's good and there's growth that comes from that, because now you've had one of those and you'll probably have more of those because you're going to stick to it. But there's growth, and you're only going to get better and better and better in how you respond to those. So anyway, it was a pretty fascinating, it was like some business tips. She gave me some therapy. It was pretty impressive for that 45 minutes on the phone with Dana Collins.
Wow, so cool.
Well, and Erin, you bring up such a good point. And Betsy actually told me about that, which I was like blown away. Like, she's one of the like pioneers, and she's like, let me just call this person I don't even know who's not on my team. I mean, but here's the other thing. We send messages in our mindset. We don't know how it's received. I had a horrible day yesterday. Don't even want to talk about why. And if I had gotten a message and I didn't do Arbonne, someone asking me to do something, if I wasn't me, because I understand what it's like, how to respond to something, I might have sent something snarky back, like, I am dealing with this. I can't, you know, we don't know what's happening when things are coming in. And so first, and like, it's always like, first and foremost, how are you and your family? Like, if it's someone you know, and like, and I've also noticed lately, the second, so I, you know, you do all the new asks and the daily methods. I'm now doing the follow-up from asks. I've gotten so many yeses on my follow-up, or like, oh my gosh, I missed it the first time. The thing is, in the past, I probably wasn't really following up because I did my ask, didn't hear back, got annoyed, got mad, like, I don't want them anyway, in my head. So that's like, these are just like the little like leadership lessons I'm learning by going through the process and really paying attention to how I'm reacting to it and what we can do with it. And just people, you just don't know what's happening. So I, you know, I love that, Erin. I mean, I kind of have to assume they could be having a really bad day. So what can I send them that will be an ask, but also show that I care? Holly, what do you want to add?
This is also good. My mind, my mind just goes like completely blank. I was going to ask you and Steph, in your BNI, have you got, you know, I'm new to WIN now, and it's all women, thank God. And I was thinking about asking their permission if I could send them, because since we're only virtual right now, a little sample, a fizz sample or something, just so they can try it, you know. Have y'all given samples to your group members? All your group members? Okay.
Yep. Because I want that in their hands. And I've done it like when I've done my 10-minute, and I, you know, I've done it in a way of like, hey, I start with shots, and I did them all like,
yeah.
But then I would like give them a gift during the holidays. I want them to have tried my stuff so they can at least share about it as a testimonial. Absolutely. I always start with those groups.
Okay.
I'm
going to do my 10-minute coming up soon, but
you should say, I think everyone needs good energy right now, so I'm sending you my favorite.
Okay. Good. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'll do that. And then the other thing I'm doing is I'm sending out messages to all my preferred clients, letting them, or remind, they probably got emails about the special right now anyway, but I'm just going to remind them about the special and the 40% off.
I have an idea about that. Not everybody wants that much stuff. What if they got together with someone?
Mm-hmm.
And I have people doing that, getting together with a friend to get the package together, where they're each doing 200 QV and they're getting the 40% together. Because guess what that could be? It could be a referral of them recruiting someone.
Okay. Good idea. Yeah.
Because you could even sign up the new person and they still get the 40%, but that new person is also going to get a free gift. And anyway, just an idea.
Okay.
It's new.
Good idea. Yeah.
This
So
is
I just, can I just tell you one quick thing that I just was positive? And
yes.
so I sent 2 messages while, you know, what we said about going from, I had talked to these people, one about the business opportunity, and she still might be interested, but she's just had a lot of family stuff going on. But she did say that she would be interested in hosting a 15-minute pop-up, which I have not always had so much success with like people, friends and family. So that was positive. And then I had connected with this girl, and I don't think I can't remember if I talked to her or not, but I did connect her with my recruiting person that I used to work for finance and accounting. And he was so nice, and he really liked her. And I don't know that he has something for her, but he's passing her information along. She's like just lost her father, and she just, you know, it's a sad situation. And I think we were both trying to help her. But so I did ask her if she would do a 15-minute pop-up, and she said she would. So I don't know. I just was not really thinking that, I guess, to go from the business opportunity to a 15-minute pop-up to trying products. I don't know. I wasn't thinking about that. So that was really good advice and has potentially worked. So thank you.
Oh, I'm so happy. Well, Heather, the thing is it's like, it's kind of a game. I'm thinking, I'm going to leave you with this. I'm thinking of our business as a game, and I don't need to win. I need to play full out. That's not, we're all different personalities. Some people do need to win, and so then it can be difficult. But for me, I just want to like own the day and like go to bed at night knowing I like left it all on the table. So when I look at my daily methods, I'm like, here's my daily methods for today. I look at it, I'm like, how am I filling this out? And how am I going to get that top 10 challenge filled out? And I think of it like a game, like, okay, thinking about a person, what are the things that might fit for them? And just in my mind, before I even like talk to them or send a message, just have different ideas. Cause that's just practice. And instead of being so laser beam focused of I'm asking for this and so fragmented, it's really being like, just like kind of hearing the response, saying, well, what about this? And that's a practice thing. So think of it kind of like a game and being creative. And like, if you're playing a game and you're playing basketball and they go this way, you're like, what can I do with the ball to get it to the basket? Do I go through? Do I go around? Like, how am I doing it? And so if you start thinking about it kind of like that, you're just going to be more strategic and feel in control, and then just end up like listening really well. Because instead of thinking about the next thing you're going to say, hear what they're saying and then have a good reaction. So I don't know. I hope this has been helpful. It has for me. I've written so many ideas down.
You know,
So I think it's really, so you guys are amazing. And I do think we're so much better together. So let's do this like once a month. I think it's like probably a really good idea. Once we know what Arbonne specials are, we should probably take the first Friday and be like, brainstorm it, because when you have ideas, then those reach outs are so simple. Because if you haven't thought of like college people that can be connectors, who you can send samples to, who knows that you can go back to, now we've like so many more people. So I would love to hear one takeaway before we go. Laura.
Oh, I love the connector idea instead of ambassador. I'm definitely going to use that. And then what you said about, is there a project that if there's a product that if it went on sale, would you like me to let you know? And I could say more, but I'll let other people say stuff.
Holly, what about you?
Definitely the connector. And I like the idea of telling, when I reach out to my preferred clients about the special, about combining with somebody else. That'll be helpful.
Awesome. Erin, what about you? What's going to be helpful for you?
Well, I love yours and Stephanie's idea of thinking about my PCs or clients or ICs that just love like 1 or 2 products and trying to get them or asking them to host for me. I think that's a great, I feel like that's a great pool of people that I can reach out to.
Heather, I know you just shared yours in just terms of like how pivoting well from conversation. So I know that's yours. Steph, I know we've been coming up with some stuff.
Yeah.
Anything you can say?
Well, I just like the reminder of the no, like ask them why. Because I did that in the past, like well, why did you say no to Arbonne? Did you have a bad experience with it in the past? Like, you know, just to, I mean, it's kind of good for us to know too, right?
Stephanie is really good at that. I want to say that she's really not afraid what people are going to say. Like, well, what happened? Why is that your reaction? Because then you have an opportunity to say, well, that's not how I do things. I'm so sorry that sometimes people just need to hear, I'm so sorry that was your experience. That stinks. Do you know, sorry, one more story. I promise we're going to go. I have a girl who's next week doing our Wednesday wellness segment. She's a chiropractor. I actually prospected her about the business in January. We talked. You know, she had been with Beachbody formerly. She had a really horrible experience with Beachbody. Like, I think they made it sound like it's so easy. And I'm like, it's not so easy to be at the top. Top 2% or 1%, not so easy. Like, I'm very open about it's not easy to be at the top. And anyone that tells you it is, it's not true. It's, you can make extra money easily, but to be at the top, like, you just got to be really clear. So I've known her like this whole time. I've invited her to my BNI group. She is so excited at the opportunity to get in front of, you know, our group as a chiropractor here in Atlanta. And I've gotten her some free stuff in the meantime. I still don't think she's right for the business, nor do I necessarily like think that that would be good for me, but I adore her. And I did get to say to her the other day, I'm like, I know you, I'm like, do you trust me now? Like, I'm like, I know you did it. You really thought I was just like the person you work with. I'm like, I hope that you appreciate our community now. Because she has been in our VIP group and she heard about the retreat. She's like, no, I knew it wasn't you, but it's just I had a bad experience. I'm like, I get that. But I hope you now know not all companies are the same. Not all leadership is the same. It doesn't have to be like that. But I had to like earn her trust and respect. And again, I'm not trying to prospect her anymore. I adore her, but I'm not even trying to prospect her. We have to remember like they might have had a bad situation. So it's okay to hear about it. And Stephanie is so good at that. And being like, yuck, like that sucks. Like in Atlanta, that was where the puppy dog approach was created back in 2006. And there are so many Atlanta people that if you mention the gold bag, they're going to be like, don't even talk to me about the gold bag. They spend a ton of money. And I'm like, I know, I'm so sorry. I was in Arbonne before that. We're still picking up the pieces from what that did for Arbonne. So I'm not afraid of it either. And sometimes if you just let them get that off their chest, then they're actually listening to you instead of, it's not a confrontation. It's like for them, Erin, you're such a good listener. Think about it as like you're being a sounding board and you're letting them vent versus confrontation. And if you think of it a little differently, you might be like, oh, that must have sucked. They just need to hear that. So I think that this brought up such good things today and I love it. And if this would be helpful for your team, the recording, let me know. But I just love you guys. I love our team. I'm so thankful we can keep on keeping on. And we're doing the hard work in August. It's going to pay off because there's some big things coming in September. Rumor has it. So be excited and let's just be consistent. And if I can help in any way, let me know. I love you guys and happy Friday.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys, for including me. Thanks so much, Renee.
Erin, you're always with us. You're one with us. It is a big team. We love you.
Thank you. See you
Bye.
guys.
Have a good weekend.